good morning, everybody. Welcome, Hot Takes Goodman and Haertl. Good morning, Bruce. How are you?
Top of the morning, Eric. I'm very good. Lots to get to this morning. Wow, what a day.
Yesterday was a beautifully sunny day. Not really a cloud in the sky, but for the Denver Nuggets, it kind of felt like this offseason was turning into dark skies, stormy skies. What are they going to do? How are they going to get out of this mess, which is the financial situation where they're up against, not necessarily up against the second apron. They certainly had some room, but they were not in a good spot financially. And then suddenly, with one major move, maybe not a major move, Bruce, by NBA standards, but a major move by Denver Nuggets standards and where they now sit in the pecking order to potentially win a championship, the skies cleared, the cap space cleared, the albatross of Michael Porter Jr.'s contract, not him, but the contract is gone. And wow, one hell of a trade. And for those that thought, what the hell is Josh Kroenke doing? He deserves a lot of apologies today, as well as Wallace and Tenzer.
Well, I will say this. We know what Ben Tenzer has been up to. I mean, he's been busy, hasn't he? Look, I would
wait a minute. Bruce, wait a minute. Josh, he was waited so long. He waited so long to hire, new front office people. Calvin Booth had been gone. And what the hell is Josh doing? What is he doing waiting so long? Well, good move, Josh.
They had things in the pipeline, and that's great credit to them. Absolutely. Yeah. This show is called Hot Takes. I'm going to give you a hot take. The Nuggets got appreciably better yesterday because of their financials. If you go player to player and move to move, you can make the argument, and I said it's an argument, that it's a wash. You can make that argument. I tend to think that they got better.
They did.
And I think they did get better.
Yeah.
But appreciably better? I mean, if you're going Michael Porter Jr. to Cam Johnson, they're two very similar types of players, shooters, etc. We can get into the weeds of what they bring. He's a capable defender, not a great defender by any stretch, not a rebounder like Michael Porter Jr. was, but a good shooter. And a guy that I like, and I know he's a guy you like. We've talked about Cam Johnson for 2 or 3 years now, dating back to previous incarnations of on radio. And Bruce Brown, I think Nuggets Nation needs to be careful about the romanticism of Bruce Brown. Bruce Brown is a good player, but he's a good guy off the bench who probably had his highest point being a Denver Nugget at the age of 26. He's been with 3 teams in the last 3 years.
Yep.
He's been an okay guy. I mean, he hasn't been great. He certainly hasn't been bad, but he's also been with 3 teams in the last 3 years. Make it 4 in the last 4.
Yep.
So I think I would be careful. And if you're going to make the comparison there, then it's what? It's with Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook numerically, metrics-wise, gave you more than Bruce Brown. Now, Bruce Brown gives you much more defensively. There is no question about that. But if we're just talking apples to apples, straight comparisons, I think the biggest news is what you just touched upon at the top of the show. The fact financially that they have room to move now, room to breathe. They can do some things. They are out from underneath the yoke of that contract that you almost wondered if Tim Conley did with a wink and a nod, knowing that he was going to Minnesota on his way out and said, hey, Denver, here you go. Deal with this one 3 or 4 years from now. I'm overstating it, but you get my point, right? It wasn't a good deal for the Denver Nuggets. So here we are. I'm with you. Blue skies, feeling good about things. How much better are the Denver Nuggets potentially as a team? That to me now becomes the real question. And I think the answer is we don't know, because we don't know when they're going to be done doing things now, because now they've got some latitude.
Okay, this is kind of a not totally fair analogy, but I'll throw it out there. We know what Dick Monfort has done to the Rockies franchise. What can Walker Monfort undo that Dick did, that Dad did? Tim Connolly is the dad in the relationship between he and Ben Tenzer and Wallace. Both Tenzer and Wallace learned at the feet of Tim Connolly. Dad made the mistake. The kids cleaned it up. With that, I want to tell you about a roller auction. There's a really good one that is coming up soon. This one is on Monday. The center at Rock Creek is having an auction for items such as fitness equipment, adjustable medical beds, kitchen equipment, office equipment, spa equipment, supplies, and more. Online bidding is started at rollerauction.com. Don't forget to go to rollerauction.com to learn about upcoming auctions. Get what you want at the price you want today at Roller Auction. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Smokin' Dave's Barbecue. It is not just the best barbecue in town, it is one of the best restaurants in town. You can find Smokin' Dave's Barbecue off 36th and Pecos.
Contracts into perspective, if you don't know what the actual numbers are, let's look at both contracts for Johnson and MPJ.
Right.
For Johnson, $21 million next season. Michael Porter Jr., $38 million next season. That is, quick math here, $17 million.
Ding, 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 ding. Nice job.
What did that $17 million turn into? A $17 million trade exception. They also have the full non-taxpayer mid-level exception, which is $14 million. I don't think the Nuggets are done shopping, nor should they be done shopping. And I think one reason why they made this move was to do some more shopping. It's almost as if Tenzer and Wallace won the lottery, cleared off all their credit cards, and now can go down to Harrods in London and go to town.
Nice.
Relatively speaking, compared to where they were before.
Yeah. What a difference 24 hours makes, right? And maybe this was a month in the making. Who knows? It doesn't make any difference. The result is spectacular.
This was in the making. And I'm going to tell you the breadcrumb that I saw. I can't remember if I brought it up on the show or not, but I thought about it after the trade. Remember when Kevin Durant got traded?
Mm-hmm.
They said there was a report the Nuggets were a sleeper team.
Yeah.
That was your breadcrumb.
Yeah.
I am guessing.
Yeah.
I'm guessing Michael Porter Jr., this is a total guess, he was offered potentially in a deal for Kevin Durant.
Eric,
you'd be the only trade chip to deal to Phoenix anyway.
And that's a good call. I hear you. That was something that that needed to be paid attention to. The thing that's great about all of this is that we have seen the franchise willing suddenly to move off center. It's a bold move. And you can make the argument of, okay, trading.
What's bold about it?
I think what's bold.
It's an obvious move. It's not bold. It's obvious. What's bold about it?
Okay. I mean, you can have your semantics. Fine.
Okay.
Whatever you want.
Yep.
It is a bold move for me in that, what have we talked about? They're in a corner. There's only so much you can do. You got to find a trade partner, which is a very difficult thing for Michael Porter Jr. But all of those things indicated a very difficult situation to get out of. But they have moved very deftly in getting out from underneath it. And that to me is when you were sitting there thinking as recently as 2 days ago or yesterday, damn, man, they're stuck. What are they going to do? How are they going to do? How can they be creative to do this? Yeah. And then all of a sudden, 24 hours later, they are in the situation that they're in, which is at the very least, very hopeful in a much better situation just with the finances alone than they were yesterday, then that to me is very hopeful about moving this whole thing forward. I mean, the worst thing in the world the Nuggets could have done was tried to run last year back. And I'm just glad that they saw that as well. Good for the Nuggets.
Well, Josh Kroenke saw it, obviously, and led us all down a path that everything was going to stay status quo. He made all of us look like fools. He really did. What was the narrative? Well, it looks like they're just going to run this thing back, and the way that they're talking, they like their young guys and they want to play them. And after a couple of press conferences, didn't you kind of get the feeling that not much was going to change?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that was by design.
Yeah,
and that
sure.
was by design. One thing that we have learned: don't play poker with Josh Kroenke. How's that? Because he fooled. There were no signs that the Nuggets were going to do this. Unlike go back, 5, 6, 7 years ago, we all knew the Broncos were drafting Garrett Bowles. That was obvious. It was out there. We knew that was going to happen. In this case, it seemed so surprising because Kroenke held it so tightly to his chest. He gave no indication anything like this was going to happen. With that, I want to talk about the difference between Johnson and Michael Porter Jr.
Sure.
You said there's not much of a difference. I have read the same exact thing. There's not much of a difference. That's not true. And here's the reason why. Yes, they are similar when it comes to both being very good three-point shooters. I'm with you there. But like Caitlin Clark shoots off the logo, in memory of Michael Porter Jr., they should put a logo there in the left-hand corner of the baseline and say Michael was here. And then never left. He rarely moved his feet, and that was because of a drop foot, because of a bad back, because of recurring injuries. The difference between Michael Porter Jr. and Johnson is Johnson moves without the ball.
Yeah.
He can create his own shot. Would any reasonable basketball fan say Michael Porter Jr. can create his own shot?
No. That is the primary difference between them.
That's huge, though. That's a big.
It is.
Because with Michael Porter Jr., it was like 4-on-5 basketball because he had a guy hanging out in the corner. You never made anybody work defensively when they were covering Michael Porter Jr. Now other teams are going to have to throw 5 defenders out there. When Michael Porter Jr. is out there, not a lot, but more than enough, you only need 4 defenders. Just shade MPJ, stay close enough so he can't launch a 3. Defensively, there's no comparison. And it's not that Johnson is a great elite defender.
He's not.
He's not. But he is better than average.
Yes, he is adequate plus. I would agree.
Okay.
Yes.
And Michael Porter Jr. is adequate minus.
Yes.
To me, that to me is a substantial difference.
Yeah, Michael Porter Jr. is a much, much better rebounder and 2 inches bigger and 20 pounds heavier. He should be 25 pounds heavier. He should be a better rebounder.
Okay, let me ask you a question. I think it's when we were on radio, you almost criticized, you did, if you remember. You kind of criticized MPJ for getting rebounds that
soft rebounds.
There you go. So
one-handed rebounds.
So when you say he's a better rebounder.
In terms of metrics.
Okay.
Just in terms of gathering, right? Just in terms of I average 7 a game, you average 4 a game.
Right.
Yeah. Is Michael Porter Jr. would never have been described as a fierce, aggressive rebounder.
Right.
He was a get yourself in the right place at the right time type of guy, which you give credit to. There's value in that, and he's still pulling balls off the boards and stuff. I like the move. I like the move from a standpoint of player to player, and I love the deal from a standpoint of where it leaves them with freedom to do some things to make the team even better. And it's interesting. And we talked about this yesterday or maybe it was before I left last week, but I know it's been a theme here. We have talked about the comment that Josh Kroenke made about Nikola Jokic, hearing him loud and clear after the Game 7 in Oklahoma City has played out. They have made moves. They have listened, and here's where I'll really give them credit. They have analyzed, and they have come away with, you know what? This isn't sustainable for us. We can't win in today's NBA in the Western Conference continuing to do business as usual. So they changed the business model. And Eric, you and I know that's easier said than done, right? I mean, when you are locked into a corner with 3 max contracts, trying to get rid of one of them and especially the guy that was the most overpaid of the max contracts for what he delivers, that's a hard thing to do. So great credit to that front office, to Josh Kroenke. And yeah, the Nuggets look a lot different today than they did yesterday. No question.
Not to pour a glass of cold water on this, who has played more games in their NBA career? MPJ or Johnson? They came into the league at the same time.
Oh, I would say MPJ has probably played more. Oh, wait a minute. He missed an entire season.
Right.
So, yeah, that's right. He missed an entire season.
No, stop. You were right. MPJ has played more games.
Yeah.
No. MPJ missed basically an entire season.
Yeah, right.
He has played more games than Cam Johnson, who does have a rich history of nagging injuries. That is something to keep your eye out on. But even if, for the sake of argument, if Cam Johnson is a bust, look at the money you just forget about saved, but the opportunity that you have. And here's the other thing that is so daunting about being, between the first apron and the second apron. Now they're under the luxury tax.
Yeah, they're under the luxury tax. It's unreal.
What's going through my head is that Aladdin song, A Whole New World. I mean, it's like, wow.
Can you hum a bar?
Right. Hey. I mean, you have Wallace and Tenzer and Kroenke and Jokic all holding hands on the magic carpet as they're like sailing through, But
and let me say this, Eric. Let me say this. And here is another thing that makes this so intriguing. And we've talked about all of these things. We've checked the boxes all the way down the line. The Jokic effect now is back in effect.
Yeah.
The Jokic effect, how does that look with Cam Johnson, who has never played with a player like Nikola Jokic, where everything in the offense will run through Nikola Jokic? How much better of a player did he make Michael Porter Jr.?
Tremendously better.
If Cam Johnson right now is a Michael Porter Jr. basically looking in the mirror in terms of his numbers, how much better of a player can he be coming to Denver? Now all of a sudden you're playing with Nikola Jokic, and your movement is rewarded. Your back cuts and your movements and moving without the ball is rewarded. That is huge.
Bruce, that's why I'm saying there's a bigger difference between MPJ and Johnson. Huge difference, because one guy is making a guy work defensively as opposed to, MPJ standing in the corner and everybody in the building, including the guy or gal in the cheap seats in the back, knows where Michael Porter Jr. is.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you at all,
Johnson
Eric. I think you're right.
That dynamic. When he has the ball in his hands, he can create his own shot. He's a better defensive player. Yes.
But the key is how much better of a player. If he is at the very least, let's just for the sake of argument say that they are very equal types of players, and the metrics do back that up. Okay? Mm-hmm. How much of a better player is he with Nikola Jokic? How much of a difference will it make for Cam Johnson to be playing with a Nikola Jokic? We've seen what a difference it's made for Michael Porter Jr. in his time. Now Cam Johnson gets the next 3-4 years to play with Nikola Jokic. How much better does it immediately make him playing with Nikola Jokic?
Okay, I read a lot of different analyses of this particular trade. One of them said, you know what, I'll tell you after the break. And this will answer your question. How much better will it make Cam Johnson? I think it potentially makes him a lot better.
Without
not a little, a lot.
Of course.
Okay. And
Right.
and think about this for a second, and I'll tease it this way. He could have a career year in scoring, being the number 3 or number 4 option, when in Brooklyn he was second option,
Yep.
maybe third option. They needed him to score, but with the Nuggets, he could have a career year in scoring. We'll explain why next.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. Don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corn bake. Man, you gotta try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a pair of Spider Cruisers or over $15,000 in cash the weekend of July 18th, just in time for the Sturgis Bike Rally in South Dakota. That's right, your choice, cruisers or $15,000 in cash. Get finalist entries every 45 minutes from 10 a.m. to midnight during their daily cash drawing with a locked-up jackpot of $100 or more. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, loose slots, great promotions, great food, and a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch in the DTC. Both locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook is a hangout bar or great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, the DTC, and coming soon to Parker. They are the sports bar.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Spice up your next night out at Nola Jane and Lodo. Authentic Cajun cuisine like andouille sausage gumbo with dirty rice, crawfish etouffee, as well as 6 different po' boys like soft-shell crab and shrimp. Come in before or after a game at Ball Arena. Host a party or party on their rooftop deck overlooking Market Street during happy hour from 11 a.m. to 5. Plus, Nola Jane caters, delivers, and the kitchen is open late night. Make Nola Jane your new favorite spot to eat, drink, and party like it's Mardi Gras.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
And welcome back. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Tomorrow, super excited to be going down to Nola Jane for a little lunch. Go see my buddy Mike Goldman. He's the executive chef and owner. Cannot wait to get that catfish on dirty rice with crawfish etouffee. So stinking good. Are you a big key lime pie guy?
Yeah, I do like myself some key lime pie. Don't have it very often, but love it when I do.
I am not a big key lime pie guy. I'll take a bite and I'm good. They make it homemade there. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. They have 6 different po' boys, which are tremendous. Always new things to the menu. Go stand on the rooftop deck, grab a hurricane, bring some hush puppies with you if you want to, and go, watch what's going on Market Street. Nola Jane, you can find them in Lodo, right down the street from Ball Arena. Best by far Cajun restaurant in town, and easily one of the best restaurants in town. Head on over to Nola Jane in Lodo. Time now for What's Trending.
What's Trending is presented by Nola Jane in the heart of Lodo. No one does Cajun cuisine better than Nola Jane. Go see why their award-winning menu is the best in town.
This is going to come out of left field, but I'm going to try and make a point here. Remember Dennis Schroeder, basketball player?
Yep.
How many points a game do you think he has averaged over the course of his career? He is 31 years old now. He's played a long time, multiple teams. What is he known best
12
as?
12 or 13.
What's he known best as? A defensive pest?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. He got traded twice this past season from Brooklyn.
Yep.
Before he got traded, he was averaging 18 points a game.
Wow.
Okay. Johnson was averaging 18 points a game. They had nobody to score. They had nobody to score at all. And it's not to say that Cam Johnson can't score. So he was the second leading scorer for the Nets, and he might surpass 18 points a game with the Nuggets, even though he will likely be the third or fourth option. And here's why. Because he was the second leading scorer, teams would guard him. You know how many open 3 looks he is going to get with Nikola Jokic? If he could just bury open shots, who knows what this guy can do? I'm not suggesting he's going to average 24 points a game.
Right. No, I got you.
But being the type of shooter that he is, creating his own shot, moving without the ball, doing things that Michael Porter Jr. physically really did not have the ability to do, Cam Johnson offers an entirely new dimension. Now let's talk about Bruce Brown. On the surface, does it look like a huge move by NBA standards? Probably not when you look at what Bruce Brown has done since he left. And you brought up the point. He really replaces Russell Westbrook.
Right.
Russell Westbrook never truly fit into what the Nuggets were doing as a team. Bruce Brown fits in perfectly to what they do as a team.
Right.
And that's what makes him far more valuable. Forget about the defense that he plays.
Yes, I would agree. The experience that he's had, the understanding of systems, comfortable, and he's a good player.
Yep.
I mean, Bruce Brown is a good player. He is a piece. He is not what Cam Johnson is in that Cam Johnson comes right in and starts on day one. But Bruce Brown gives them a great piece, a trusting piece coming off the bench. They still have to continue to develop players, young players. So that's going to be still a very key component. But Eric, to your point, I don't think that I think that we're probably thinking that they're not done shopping yet. You talked about going to Harrods, by the way, great choice. Harrods, fantastic place. Not maybe a place to pick up a really great deal, but You know what? I'll take my bag to Harrods and see what I can come away with. Yeah, why not? One more piece coming off the bench, and then hope that you can develop a piece that's already in the building. Then you're in pretty good shape. No question.
Okay, just for fun, looking at what they did yesterday, because of unloading the contract, again, this is not a personal thing against Michael Porter Jr., but I do think Cam Johnson is a better player, and he's $17 million less.
Mm-hmm.
You almost have to think, who could be dumb enough to take on this contract and then not even match it dollar for dollar? Because the saying goes, there's always one team. That's why Brooklyn is Brooklyn. Now, granted, they had to throw in that first-round pick.
Right.
They had to throw in the first because eventually – whatever that first round pick is going to get paid, maybe it'll make up for the difference. Yeah. I'm not sure. But I'll tell you this. Now that the Nuggets, for lack of a better phrase, are flush with money, I'm more than confident that Tenzer is going to have a really good eye on this cap and make sure they don't do anything stupid. But they can't afford to do anything stupid, because if they dig themselves a hole again, like they did with MPJ, excuse the language, they're fucked, because they have almost 0 draft picks coming up in the next 7 years. They will have a difficult time bailing themselves out of this situation again.
And Eric, there's no guarantee, even though you can have yourself a shopping spree, at least in a relative sense. There's no guarantee that Stan is going to say to Josh, hey, go ahead and fold this back into basketball operations. I mean, that we don't know whether or not the money saved is going to be spent again. They could very well sit on it too. I mean,
hold on.
You know.
In Jokic's prime years, do you think they're going to sit on any money?
I would be surprised, but
with foolish contracts.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Okay. I'll give you a guy who I've wanted on the Nuggets for a long time, and he could easily be available. How would you like to see Al Horford on this roster?
Sure.
It's
Why not?
doable.
Yeah.
It's doable. Guy can hit threes.
Yep.
Championship medal, tough guy, backup center in theory. Okay. So would he be a great guy to bring in? Yeah. Bring him in on maybe a 1 or a 2 year deal.
Totally.
Maybe. But don't give him a 3-year deal, including a player option, jackass. Does that sound familiar, Dario Saric?
Yes,
Does that
absolutely.
sound familiar, Russell Westbrook? Just don't make deals like that.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. At least they went through that experience and they know how bad it looks. Hopefully you've learned not to do that again. So yeah, off we go. It's going to make next season, regardless of what they do from this point. And I'm with you. I don't think that they're done. It's intriguing, but just from where they are right now, they're a better basketball team.
This could feel like 2 consecutive days of Christmas, because you walk downstairs on Christmas morning and you couldn't have imagined what was sitting under the tree, which was unloading that contract, my opinion, getting a better player, a more versatile player, throwing a fan favorite like Bruce Brown, who wants to be here. You're probably thinking, can it really get any better than this? This is the apex. This is the zenith of what we were hoping the Nuggets would do. I asked you yesterday to start the show, think the Nuggets are going to do anything in free agency? And your answer was the same as what I thought, which was, probably not.
Yeah. But now the reason that now you're looking for the BB gun behind the Christmas tree, right? Give me the Red Ryder or whatever it was from A Christmas Story. Now you're looking for the championship piece. You're looking for a piece that indicates that the Nuggets are all in and ready to go. I think Al Horford would be a very nice piece, for instance. But you're looking for a piece that makes you say as a fan, damn, they're going for it.
Here, I'm going to throw something else at you that, we're talking about the numbers here. But here's a big one that is not going to be talked about as much because there's so many different facets of the finances. Okay. For starters, they're $14 million under the first apron, which it's a miracle. Okay.
It is
a miracle. Okay. The mid-level exception, the full taxpayer mid-level exception, at this time yesterday was $5.7 million. Now it's $14 million. They have a trade exception at nearly $17 million. But here's the thing that could turn out to be the most important part of all of this numbers, payroll, monetary equation. For the first time in more than 2 years, the Nuggets now, because they're under the first apron, can take back more salary in a trade than they send out, as long as they remain under the first apron after that trade. That is huge flexibility.
It really is.
That's why Brooklyn can make that deal, because they're under the first apron and they can take back more salary.
And it also gives them a little more leeway with Christian Brown, who's right around the corner now from getting off of a rookie contract. Essentially, we'll use football terms there.
And Jokic is up.
Jokic is up.
For a new deal.
Right. Absolutely. So, I mean, there are still challenges on the horizon, but competitively, they're in a much better position, and I think are still, and we've talked about this already today, and are still in a position to get more competitive. So if you really believe that the Nuggets were close, and I don't think you and I, and I'm not going to speak for you, but I think I can, I don't think that we really thought the Nuggets were that close. They were in a game 7 of a second round series, but I don't think the Nuggets were that close to being a Western final. They
didn't have the bench to sustain.
No, they just didn't. They're much closer to being that now. So, and they're in a better position for the next couple of years to deal with some of the challenges that they have. See Nikola Jokic, see Christian Brown, but yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Let's just take a moment and give Tanzer and Wallace their flowers, and Josh Kroenke their flowers, because you know what? If you were, and we weren't, because the attitude, I think it was more along the lines of, got to wait and see what these guys are going to do. It's unconventional to have two guys in that kind of position. How is the communication working? How's the decision making working? These are all things that I needed to see. Well, if this is any indication, count me in. Nice job.
There should be a lot of fans, although they don't have a microphone to do it, but a lot of media members who should be giving full-throated apologies today. Now, granted, we have to see how the deal works out.
Right.
But truthfully, again, even if Bruce Brown is a bust and Cam Johnson is a bust, financially, this team is in a much better spot.
Right.
The best, it's funny. People blame, and rightfully so, GMs for bad deals. But I kind of separate it in my own head. And I can think of a lot of examples here in Denver. The Russell Wilson trade did not work out. Did anybody object to Russell Wilson being traded for? No. At the time, it was the right move. The moves yesterday, that was the right move. How it plays out, nobody has a crystal ball. Nobody has a crystal ball. I think you were here. I don't know. I can't remember his name. He was a pitcher for the Cleveland Indians. I think it was Brightish that might have brought him in.
Brian Shaw.
Perfect fit for Coors Field. And
Right.
He was awful, but it was a great trade at the time.
Right.
Yesterday's moves were terrific moves. But seriously, that's why I try and tend. I know the show is called Hot Takes. And listen, I can, it's not that I give I don't consider my takes hot takes because I believe them. To me, hot takes are things that you don't believe, but you're just putting it out there to gain clicks and things like that, or you're trying to say something controversial. You and I have known each other for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't look to say things controversial. I'll just tell you what I think. And if you don't like it, then I suppose it's controversial. With that, when a team makes a move, makes a hire, unless I just know so much about this person where I can really give a full-throated opinion on it, I'll usually play the wait and see approach. Not because I'm worried about being wrong. Not that I'm worried that I criticize somebody and the guy makes me look like a jackass, right? But so many people were like, what the hell is Josh Kroenke doing? I'm going to use your term. Give the guys their flowers. You know where those flowers were yesterday at this time? Sitting on the graves of Kroenke, Wallace, and Tanzer. That's where people wanted to put their flowers, because people felt that Josh Kroenke just buried this franchise in the hands of two young guys who have never held high executive positions before. I want to hear the apologies today. I was wrong. Every media guy can say, I was right. Good for you. All of us are right at some point.
Sure.
It's like the old saying, a clock is right twice a day, right?
Right.
Come out and say, you know what? I misjudged these guys. Maybe I was wrong about these guys. But of hires I can remember in recent history, the way Josh handled it, waiting as long as he did to replace Calvin Booth, not having the word GM on a title, bringing in a guy who used to be an intern. I mean, you could write a movie script about it.
Eric, making a coaching change with 3 games left in the season. I mean, my goodness, all kinds of things, right?
I mean, the guy who wrote The Hangover couldn't have come up with a more creative script than with what we saw with the Nuggets with 3 games to go in the regular season.
I mean, it has been, to say that it's been a whirlwind is doing a disservice to, tornadoes, right?
Yeah.
It's been amazing. It's been quite a run. And to think that a week ago we were being introduced to the new brain trust of the Denver Nuggets, and within 6 days they have changed, hopefully irrevocably, the look and the future of the franchise is, in a hopeful and optimistic way, is pretty remarkable. I mean, if you ask me,
just by the optics of it, and then we gotta run. But if you just did a cardboard head cutout of David Adelman and of Tenzer and of Wallace, and you put it on a piece of poster board, you would think it's the new cast for Our Gang, which is the Little Rascals.
Right. Sure.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
A bunch of young guys being given the keys to the kingdom, right? A bunch of young looking guys who look like they just walked out of their fantasy draft. Well, apparently these guys knew what they were doing.
Yeah. I think the fact that they were able to find a trade partner for Michael Porter Jr. with the contract that he has.
Yeah.
And to be able to flip it, leaving yourself better for making the deal.
Yeah.
Is unbelievable to me. I would have bet that they would not have been able to find a trade partner for Michael Porter Jr. We all knew he needed, just financially, again, I'll use your term, nothing personal, but just financially, just trying to find a trade partner for him.
Well, what's the words? What are the words that we use, Bruce?
Untradeable. Right. Absolutely. I mean, you looked at it and thought, how the hell are you going to get out from underneath this? Well, we have our answer right now.
Right. Well, good on the Nuggets. This should be an exciting season. I don't think they're done. They have too much money to spend. And you know what? You're going to pour it into Jokic's window now.
Yep.
And boy, did they finally have some serious options. I am not a fan. I've told you that many times. This is stinking exciting.
It is.
It really is. And I'm not a fan anymore. I wish I was. This is really exciting with what they have the opportunity to do to reshape this entire roster. Now, what does that look like with Strother and Pickett and Watson? I don't know. And with all due respect, I don't care. Do you?
Not particularly. I mean, I would like for them to continue to get improvement and to identify someone there that is truly trustworthy.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm with you. Today, it is all about just wow, freaking wow.
And today is also the NHL start of free agency.
Let's go.
Let's see what the Avalanche do. I don't expect them to go in big, simply for the fact that, yes, they need some reinforcements, but if they wait till the trade deadline, that money multiplies in terms of what they can do. I don't know if they're more of a free agent team today or they should be more of a trade team at the deadline. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. Make the best possible day you can.